What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the WARFRAME video. So, yet another build guide for Garuda today. This probably is one of the best Garuda builds I've ever put together. And if you watched the video from yesterday, I'm on Molt Reconstruct. We're actually using Molt Reconstruct to make Breach Surge Garuda like what it always should have been. So, we're going to be getting... Now, this is more of a steel path, like endurance kind of build, but you can use it for normal missions too. But I'll put a more lazy version of this build up for when you're not trying to do steel path endurance, because this is what the build is about: is steel path endurance and being basically invincible. So, yeah. Also, no energize needed, so that's kind of nice too. Before we get into it, make sure to check out the live stream channel. We'll be live later tonight with some Warframe and maybe some Lost Ark, because I want to grind my characters up in that game a little bit more too, and I've really not been doing that much. And also, make sure you sub to this channel so you can see all the videos go up, because we're trying to get back into videos every day around here. Okay, so TLDR for the video yesterday, well, a little bit of the video yesterday. Molt Reconstruct, this new Arcane is perfect for Garuda. Every time you cast an ability, depending how high the cost of the ability is, you'll get more and more health regen. Well, not regen, but like an instant heal for you and your nearby allies. So, let's say I cast an ability with 100 energy cost. It will be a 600 heal. Additionally, Garuda, one of Garuda's abilities cuts her health to give her energy back. So if we use an ability like Breach Surge with that Arcane, we get a full heal. So get our energy from our 3, cast Breach Surge for health back, rinse and repeat over and over again. Since we're running a specific aura mod called Brief Respite, that's going to actually make it where the amount of energy we spend on our abilities will also give us shields back too. So we're getting a full heal, a full shield, and we have crazy high range, so our Breach Surge blinds all enemies in a 42-meter radius. Let's not forget that also, once they are affected by this, they will launch Evil Ghost to destroy the other enemies nearby them, which can also proc off of her 4, which causes slash proc some damage on the enemies. So the entire gist of this build is endurance shield gating. I don't like really the playstyle of endurance shield gating, but I like this playstyle. It's very active. Let's get some gameplay of it on screen, actually. On the steel path. And yeah, so the footage you're seeing right here does not have Bloodforge on. I was actually running another range mod, but you can put Bloodforge on this build for infinite reloads if you'd like. You'll never have to actually manually reload your weapon. So we're using AoE weapons. If you're using Bloodforge for instant reloads, the augment for 3, you can use an AoE weapon that has like spamming rockets. So for example, like the Envoy or the Tsar, this instant reload by casting her 3. You're casting her 3 a lot, so you might want to consider this. If you don't want to run this, what I was running there before, which is not really as good value for the slot, but still was really nice for blinding the whole area, was Augur Reach. That takes our blind radius to 47.7 meters, like another 5-meter radius on your blind, but you lose out on the instant reload. So it's going to be up to you. As far as other stuff on here, we got Rolling Guard for shield gating and being invincible. There is lots of iframes and gray health invincibility on this build. So If you are into this active playstyle, it can be rewarding to you. It's also good for Steel Path Thrax, good for Steel Path in general. So yeah, really good. And then all of our other stats, we don't have too much strength. We've actually got Umbral Intensify and Blind Rage. Now Blind Rage is actually here by design, as it increases the cost of Breach Surge, so we can easily get our full shield gate back. Also, will increase the cost of some of this. You can actually technically shield gate with Dreadmere if you have enough. If you have enough like Augur set, but this is a no Augur set build, so you can technically put Augur mods on your pistol too, but we're mainly shielding with Breach Surge, so it's not too big of a deal. And then yeah, we also have Molt Augmented for an increase. Another nice thing about Molt Augmented with Breach Surge is that the amount of strength you have means how deadly your ghosts will be and your status chance of your ghosts. So Molt Augmented, another 60% power strength. Since we're running Madurai, it's like another 100% total, so we're at about 280 something power strength with 235 range. Of course, it would be 265 range you put on Augur Reach. Those are very high stats. This is basically like a Zaku build with really high strength, really high range. And yeah, so in practice, I mean, you just completely dominate. I mean, 42-meter radius on a blind that works on Acolytes, works on Eximus, works on Thrax. That's pretty much better than Gloom for the most part. Now, the thing about Gloom versus this is that Gloom is just going to be this is going to be a hard stun with additional functionality of, just like making the enemies, you get lifesteal from them. Breach Surge, we're using it for shield gating. Like I said, it's going to scale better because health falls off eventually. If you want a more health-focused build for this with Breach Surge, here you go. It's on the screen right now. I went with Combat Discipline and Avenger on here just because it's fun. And still Molt Reconstruct. Very similar build, but we've got Umbral Vitality and a slightly lower rank overextended for some more strength and some good range, too. A staple on Garuda is Natural Talent. If you watched the video from yesterday, you can cast her 4 with Molt Reconstruct to be completely fully healed. Also, you'll get full shield gate with this build, too. So it's like a full restore on all your like health and shields when you cast her 4 with setup. Additionally, you're invincible for a brief period while you're casting her 4 without shield gating. So it's lots and lots of invincibility. It feels like you're playing Hera with his 4, kind of. Also, while you're diving with her 1, you're also invincible. So lots and lots of invincibility. And yeah, no energize required, which is a pretty expensive arcane still. So yeah, really, really nasty. So let's start talking about weapon choices here. And what you could be looking for if you want to run this. Because I would highly, highly recommend it. I'm going to be running it a lot going forward. So definitely want to get this out for you guys. So let's go over weapons. So as far as weapons that are good with the Breach Surge, you just want like big numbers. Big guaranteed slash procs are always good. So one of the setups I've been going for is actually using the Tenant Envoy. And now this is what I would probably run if I'm not going to run Bloodforge, because I really don't want to run Bloodforge. So we're going to take out Bloodforge for Augur Reach for more range. Like I said, 47 meter radius on the blind. So what the Tenant Envoy does, we have a Toxin Tenant Envoy here, making it viral on the explosion of the rockets with no elemental mods. The Tenant Envoy is a rocket launcher that you can like basically guide the missiles where they go, but something that not everyone realizes is that this thing has a terrible reload speed, but it has a special passive where you fire off some rockets, and while it's holstered, it auto-reloads. So if I fire off some rockets, then switch to my Glaive Prime, kill some enemies with the Glaive Prime, when I switch back to my Tenant Envoy, it will be full magazine again. So the idea for this loadout, if you're not using Bloodforge, is, let's summon on some enemies. You're going to, well, they're going to die instantly, but whatever. So you go in there, you fire off some rockets, cast your abilities, and then like while your rocket launcher's reloading, switch to your Glaive, kill some more enemies with the Glaive, rockets reloaded, keep going at it. So you could mod your rocket launchers from fire rate. You could even take off Molt Augmented for Arcane Acceleration, I believe it's called. It's really up to you guys. Like even like daggers are pretty good for this. Heavy attack weapons. Glaive is just nice because it goes through walls. One rocket should kill all those guys. Yep, so that's pretty much what you can look at with Breach Surge Garuda. She's always been able to do that, but the problem with Breach Surge before is that it had no healing tied to it. This Molt Reconstruct Arcane is literally perfect for Garuda and perfect for not having to use like Gloom or like Nourish. It makes every helmet basically Nourish for Garuda as far as healing's concerned. So really, really good stuff there. Let's just show the builds for all the weapons now, since we just talked about what we're using. So I'm not sure this is completely min-max, but yeah, we got basically a full 100 munitions set up here. Now 30% of the time, it only works 30% of the time, but it's still really strong. So we've got over 100% crit chance with a double crit Riven, 8.1 multiplier. So if an enemy gets slash proc by this, they're going to die, and then that slash proc's going to trigger the Breach Surge and kill another enemy nearby. So it's lots and lots of AoE here. And if you don't have a Tenant Envoy, the Kuva Tsar is totally fine for this as well. Kuva Brahma, Kuva Ogress even, because, there's multiple ticks of damage all the time, and Breach Surge likes multiple ticks of damage sometimes as well. So Nightwatch Napalm Ogress could be pretty good here too. So keep that one, as an option if you have it. And then let's move on to some other weapons here. So, and we have Merciless and all that. So as far as the secondary does not matter at all. I was messing with like DPS secondaries for a little bit, but I just realized it really wasn't worth it. When we have weapons like the Envoy and the Glaive to choose from, my Epitaph is basically just here as a stat stick. Now this is where you could put on more Augur mods for more shield gating if you want to shield gate with other abilities besides her 2 and her 4. I don't think our build will fully shield gate from just the 1. So you could just, since this build doesn't really matter, you could just throw on Augur Seeker and Augur Pact on here, but our build does not currently need it, so that's going to be up to you. If we ever need a CO proc something, I guess we got Viral, Heat, and then Cold technically. But yeah, Jugular Spines randomly makes tentacles come out of the ground, kind of cool. Saxon Spittle makes enemies explode sometimes, kind of cool. And then yeah, Amalgam Barrel Diffusion make me roll faster, I guess. And as far as the melee weapon, we've got the Glaive Prime. And this one is just, pretty nasty. A lot of people know about this. You don't have a Riven, you can just put that right there. 4 slash procs of Heavy Explosion, big AoE with Volatile Quick Return, giving you an increased blast radius for this thing that goes through walls. It's a melee that still goes through walls, by the way. And yeah, just really, really nasty. You got Madurai Focus School. In case I ever do die when I'm like maybe scratching my nose or like looking at chat, You can use Void Strike to do big increased damage with your operator or with your frame. Technically, you don't ever actually need to use this while you're in your frame in normal missions. But yeah, so what will happen is you will go down if you have the Unairu Waybound, which I believe is called Last Gasp. So it's basically Borderlands Fight for Your Life mode. You go into Borderlands mode, then you use Void Strike, and then use like Propa twice. It will kill high level Grineer, especially if they're Breach Surge. You can kill them with the operator amp very easily. So let's just repause these. Actually, we don't need to pause them. I'm gonna try to kill these guys with the operator amp with Garuda's buffs, and we can see how that goes. So blind everybody, and then switch to operator. A couple Propa shots maybe. Okay, let's use Void Strike. Oh, I wanted to use Void Strike, guys. Okay, well, it still works with just the operator and no Void Strike, apparently. So that's something you can definitely do. Those enemies are just basically sitting ducks for whatever you throw at them when they're breach searched like that. And with a nearly 50-meter radius, yeah, enemies... The nice thing is enemies that are blinded with my energy color will be marked, like they'll have like red stuff on their face, like they're really angry. So maybe think about that when you're picking energy color, something that was very noticeable from across the room. And then for the Panzer Cat, we've got, pretty standard stuff here. Martyr Symbiosis. If I do die randomly, the cat can sometimes sacrifice itself to make me not die. And then you stack Martyr Symbiosis with Tech Assault. Cat has a 60% chance not to die. So it's going to sacrifice itself, but then 60% of the time it doesn't actually die. So you can just do that back and back and back. Really funny, really good. Viral Quills launches some quills that have viruses in them, causing... status, chance, and damage. Yeah, I totally read that. Sharpened Claws removes enemies' armor. It says 120% armor for some reason, even though only 100 matters, so whatever. And then Panzer Devolution. When it dies, it comes back to life, like 30 seconds later. And then Fetch to pick up loot, because duh. Prime Animal Instant to see the loot, and then pick it up. Good stuff, good stuff. Yeah, that's basically it for the build, guys. Like I said, I know I made a video on, like, Mirage Eclipse yesterday on Garuda. I think this is better personally, and this is really a flex slot right here. Maybe you think I'm going way overkill on range, which maybe I am. You could change this for a lot of other things. And this is a double Umbra Forma Garuda build. You don't need to double Umbra Forma Garuda for this at all. Like this build will do fine with less strength. Yeah, it won't be as funny and good, but it's still technically viable. It's something you can definitely run. So. Yeah, I think that's good. We're good on Garuda builds for a couple days at least. It's really, really powerful, guys. So, yeah, if you don't want to run the Glaive because you're like bored around the Glaive and you're bored of running AoE, you can try out other stuff too. Like okay, maybe if you're bored of AoE, don't try other stuff. But I was using the Tsar and the Thurax. That was good. I was using the Inodem. I was using the Karis Prime. Those were all really good. You basically just want like hard-hitting weapons. Oh, Stropha, really good with Breach Surge. You could definitely try out Stropha, get some red crit, multi-million damage slash procs. That's pretty deadly. So yeah, go have some fun with this, guys. I'll see you next time in the next video, and I'll also see you later tonight on Twitch. Appreciate all the support lately. Take it easy. Peace.